What's up out there? Welcome back to some more Melvor Idle Hardcore. This is Gen 2, episode 76. In the last video, I was trying to work up the last bit of completion that we got when the township patch came in. I've not really been working a whole lot on the expansion part of it. I've just been mainly working on clearing out the base game. I've done a few other things here and there, but for the most part, I've been trying to get completion back to get my Cape of Completion back, which I now have. That is done. So that is completed and over with. So I had to get crafting urns, the small urns and the medium urns. I had to get these done. So I needed to get ash. So I dipped into fire making for a little bit. I did some wood cutting. The wood cutting's very, like, you can get ash from wood cutting, but it's a very, very small amount. So I went into fire making and did it there. Got the masteries for those done. Then I went into the Water God dungeon. I don't even know how many bank tokens I had, but I spent some quality time in the Water God dungeon. And let's see, I had to go through pretty much the Water God, the Earth God, and the Fire God. I think I needed like 2, 2, and 1 or something like that of the swords to get the Ultima God sword. So I got a whole bunch of bank tokens out of there. So I've got quite a few bank tokens from that and a lot of money. I ended up selling a lot of the gear. Actually, I was selling the gear until I went and did some Item Alchemy 3 with it. And you can actually make some really solid money off of this. Like these things here sell for 4 million a piece, which I'm going to get rid of them here, I think, and I'm going to burn them through. But I mean, I think if I had the, let's see, I don't have any of the fancy stuff on here. Anyway, I'll deal with that later, but you get tons of money from selling this stuff. So I had a bunch of gear that came in and there was like 900,000, 400,000 a piece, the armor and stuff you get from the various God dungeon. And I was selling some of them, just selling it. And then I came in here and did some of this. So I made a little bit of money, I think 3 or 400 million, something like that. I got wood cutting up to level 118. All the mastery is done. In fact, looks like I'm about ready to be 119 here. So we're done. Carrying trees at 120. This will be the first thing I get to 120 because I'm probably going to have to do some wood cutting here and there. But I've been banking the, not that I have a great number of them, but I have 100,000 of these birds' nests towards the 1 million that I need to turn in. And that 1 million in township will get me 80 more bank slots. So I'm going to keep working on that one, especially once we get into crafting. I'm going to need a lot of stuff from that when we do crafting. So anyway, that's where wood cutting is. I did some agility adjustments for combat because I had to go into combat. I made some adjustments for that, and now I've made some adjustments back. But I got the Ultimate God Sword done. Oh, the big change that I made was 11, I think. Was it this one? Yeah, so I wasn't really catching this. Like, I thought things were going really slow, and I started looking through my agility to see what was going on. Actually, there's a handy mod you can get where you click on your skill, and it shows you where all your positives and negatives are, and it actually tells you what builds that up, what agility modifiers and stuff comes in from that. So I narrowed it down to this obstacle 11, and I didn't even think about this. Is it 99? What's the mastery? Yeah, the mastery level is 99. So this starts with a minus 20% chance to double loot. And I had it at 99, so it was cut in half, but it was still taking 10% off of my double loot chance. So I think it was either taking me at very low or negative, meaning 0. So I was just getting like one thing at a time. It kind of sucked. So I switched this one out over to the water maze to get plus 10 chance, but it dropped my skill XP, which, sure, fine, whatever. But this, I think switching to this made me get the stuff quicker and get through it faster. So the moral of that story is to look at your agility stuff, even if you just go into, even if you're not running mods, just go in here and look at all this and see what negatives you have. Make sure that the mastery level is 99, so it cuts it in half, number one. And number two, if you're trying to do something like skill and you have all negatives to skill XP, you need to change all those. Or if you're trying to do combat, which is one of the things I was trying to get done, and I changed it all. So I've changed it back to skilling XP. So I've got global skill here, agility mastery skill, rune crafting mastery. Here's global skill, summoning skill. This is combat negative, so I don't worry about that. This one's summoning basically. And then I left Ice Jump where it was, one for astrology because I'm working on astrology now. And I think there might be some other astrology ones I could kick on. And maybe that's later. I have to look at my standard account. But at any rate, I retooled this for XP gains. So if I come down here to astrology, the only thing I have a negative on is the chance to preserve potion charge. So I have now completed the base game for the second time. That's now done. I have my Cape of Completion on. The cool thing about the Cape of Completion is you get 5% damage reduction, so it's a percent better than the Infernal Cape, plus you get all of the other bonuses that come with it. So, and I noticed this gives you 25% mastery pool cap. So I don't know if that means you can get more XP in there. I'm not quite sure of what that means exactly, but I would presume on some of these skills, like maybe mining or something that has a really low ceiling, that it maybe bumps that ceiling a little bit so you can have more of the higher end side of things. Because once you're at 95%, there's a very low ceiling and you might not be able to, level up something in here. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not clear on that, but I thought it gave you all of the mastery pool stuff, but maybe that was before the expansion. Not sure on that either. So I have a new plan. And first of all, before I go into that plan, you may notice that my astrology looks a little different when I have these little stars and stuff on here. I saw this mod. I don't really need it now. Let's see, go under my mods. It is the Shining Star mod. I thought this one was cool as hell and I wanted to turn it on. So what this does is it shows you what you have unlocked. So if I go and explore this, I have one that is remaining down here that's gold. So I have all 3 of the white ones and then 2 of the gold ones, but one of them's locked. So once I hit 99 mastery, I'll be able to unlock that one and be done with it. And it'll show me whether I haven't started on this. I think they said it shows partial progress and then it shows you completion. And when you've got everything done, it shows this cool little symbol on all of them with the little sparkly stuff coming out. So this would have been really handy early on because this is something that the base game should do, quite honestly, because it's very painful to have to go through and click through all these and see where you're at. So I figured I would grab this in case I do ever start another account. I've got it already enabled and ready to go. I'm digging all the mods that I've got. I have my handy dandy notebook that has what my plans for the future are. So here we go. I want to get agility to 120. I want to max agility out. And I don't necessarily have these in the order that I'm going to do them. I might and I might not. And I know I'm a little wishy-washy on this, but I want to get into combat first and foremost. And the Slayer areas have a lot of Slayer negation that you have to apply. I cannot get better gear unless I do these tasks. And these tasks are going to require a hell of a lot of Slayer negation. So I need certain things to happen to make sure that my hardcore character doesn't die. Now, my standard account's died a few times. I've tried some things, but I've learned some things. You really need to watch that Slayer stuff. It can kill you fast. I think it was these magic fire demons. Like every time I fought them, they would just instantly kill me. And I totally had them on lockdown, whether they were not going to die or kill me or not. But I think it's this here. There's a percent chance your current hit points is taken as damage. So when it would hit me with all my hit points and just kill me. I think that's what it was. So long story short, I don't want to lose my character that I've had for a year and a half or however long I've had this character. So I kind of want to do certain things in a certain ways. I want to finish off this Rosania. And if I look at this, the last one of these constellations comes out at 115, and this is a general combat one. So it's got like double items in combat and stuff like that. I'm pretty good on mastery. This one's almost mastered out, and then this one's pretty close. I mean, I could run this for a little bit and get this fairly well mastered out or dip below. I'm not so worried about getting the golden stardust and the meteorite and stuff like that. I'm way flush with that stuff right now. I should have enough. I'm not too concerned with it, and I'll get more as it goes, and I'm letting this run. I think I'm running skills because I want to get this leveled up. But my goal is going to be, if I go up my handy dandy notebook, I want the astrology done at 115 for combat. I want to have all those combat modifiers ready to go, and all of it is ready to go except for the last one. So I want to get astrology as far down the line as possible. I want to get agility to 120 so I can open up the combat pillar because there's some nice buffs along the way for Slayer negation and stuff like that. So I want to get that one done. Smithing to 120. I cannot get the best smithing gear unless the best gear from smithing unless I'm at 120. Same thing with crafting. The best rings and amulets and stuff like that are all at 120. Rune crafting actually stops at 118. The best wand is at 118. All of the other gear, you can get into a lot of the legendary or whatever it is. The highest tier clothing parts you can get into a lot earlier. Fletching has 115 for the crossbow, and then, like I said, astrology 115. So that's kind of my plans going forward, and that's why I put it on XP gain, because I want to go through here and do some things here. And I think what I want to work on is get astrology done first, because there's some really good bonuses in astrology down here for duplicating items, things like that. And then I want to work on agility. And I want to look at my standard account first and see where all the Slayer negation and stuff is. There are some really nice skilling gloves and items that come from various things in here. It's not the hungry plants. I think it's the Kangamados have these sharp Fletcher gloves. Like I can idle these right now, I think, but I want to be better at idling them, not on the margin, you know what I mean? So I want to get better gear. That means mage gear. That means rune crafting. The Condas, no, that's the perfect sight. Bundled protection. That's actually really good, this bundled protection. Let's see here. It's the infernal golems. These things drop blacksmith's gloves, and these are really good gloves for XP. Like they give crazy amounts of XP. So I want to go get some of these gloves and items out of these Slayer areas. And then like some of the dungeons, I think maybe even these have some cool stuff in them. The Toxic Maker gloves, those I don't think I need for anything but completion. Like they're not, I don't remember if they're good for poison or for herb lore or if it's just the potion itself. But I mean, whatever. So basically, bottom line is I want to get into combat and I want to get through the Ancient Sanctuary. I already have one puzzle piece picked up for that somewhere. Thought I had it. Yeah, it's right there. So I have one puzzle piece and I want to get into that and get that ground out, beat once, because once I've beaten it one time, that means that I can get where's it at? This extra equipment set. So I just need to beat it one time and I get that, and that gives me some extra equipment room. And so that's what I'm going to gear up for, is getting astrology done, working on a little bit of agility, and then probably rune crafting will be next. So if I was to order these, I would probably put, let's see, we're going to put astrology up front here, and then we'll do agility and then rune crafting. So the big thing with rune crafting, and the reason that I want that one up further, and I may do agility to a lesser extent, but the reason I want rune crafting up is you can get some pretty good gear, like this poison magic gear. The best gear is at 112, 114 there, 114 there. So 112, 114 is where I really need to get to. And I think, if memory serves, all this bottom tier gear on all these, I can't remember what it is, the lightning mythical, the infernal mythical, I think the poison mythical and all that, I think those all have the same damage reduction. So if I can get at least to the poison magic gear 112, if I can get that to 112 or so, something like that, that's going to open up all that gear. That's going to equip all that for my character, and I should be good. Now I'm going to have to raise magic and everything. I have to see what kind of magic level I need, but at the very least, 102, 3, and 4 gets me the base level of all this, which improves the gear that I have immensely, because I just have this glacier gear, and I think this stuff's like 9 or 10 or 11% damage reduction, so it really builds up quickly. I also noticed, and I didn't even pay attention to this really, these fully upgraded shields have some hellacious damage reduction. That's 14% damage reduction. And I think the other shields that we have are like 9, even the Earth Layered shield's like 12. It's not very far. So again, pushing further into rune crafting and smithing is going to give me a lot better gear and a lot more survivability than the stuff that I have now. Actually, you know what? I do have the blacksmith gloves. So I went ahead and ground those out. 75% smithing skill, 3% smithing mastery, and minus 0.1% smithing interval. So these are well worth having early on. So that is my plan. That's what I'm going to go for in the near term, is to just work on some non-combat stuff for a little while, gear up, and then get ready to go into the Ancient Sanctuary. And then we'll be able to start going back and forth. There's not a whole lot of combat gear that you're going to get. There is, but you're going to probably get better gear to get into this from the skills than from the dungeons immediately. So that's what I'm going to try to work on. But I do want to get through the Ancient Sanctuary kind of quickly. So that's the plan for this one. And that will do it for this video. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.